Hello, this is Lydia at Homespun Quilts in Astoria, Oregon. And today I'm going to show you um, what I consider, everybody talks about rotary cutters and how you make your first cut and you should use a ruler and all these things. But what they don't tell you is that it's super intimidating to use this for the first time. So I recommend just taking some scrap fabric and practicing keeping your wrist straight. When you flip your wrist this way to actually cut the fabric, it will be at a 45-degree angle, which is recommended. What you're going for is a nice firm push that's going to go all the way through the fabric, but without pushing down so hard that you're putting a lot of stress on your wrist. So when you do your first cut, sometimes the tendency is to just go really lightly because you're afraid, and that won't work. So you're going to have to, just keep practicing, pushing a little bit harder each time and seeing until you get a nice clean cut all the way across and no little strings attached. And then just do that quite a few times. So now we have our little confetti here. So now you can start controlling this a little bit more. And what I do is, I used to play softball. So they always told us, you look where you want the ball to go. And the same thing is true in sewing and rotary cutting. So I'm aiming for this line right here. And that's what I'm watching when I'm cutting. This is going to help me get a straight line and get me used to pushing and going in the a smooth motion in a certain direction to a certain space. Okay, so now that you've done that for a few minutes, you've kind of got the idea of where the cutter's going and how hard to push. Now you can bring in your ruler and you just want to rest the blade against the ruler. Don't push, no pushing sideways. You want to keep that same straight 45-degree angle. And I put my fingers over here or a little bit closer. See how I'm going to close this. See how my pinky is hanging over and touching the edge of the ruler? That helps me keep it stable. Now these are small cuts, so it's not going to be so easy for the ruler to move. And sorry, I'm shaking those around. So I just want to rest my blade against the ruler, and with the same pressure I was practicing, push smoothly across. And before I move my ruler, I make sure that my piece was cut all the way through. And again, just do this with some scraps. Keep practicing. Doesn't matter how big or small these are. You just want to practice. And then you can see where I have this little green part. So I'm going to use that as a straight edge and start making my cuts a little more symmetrical. So this will help with squaring up different pieces, getting you used to using your ruler along a specific line. Oop, see? The other thing you want to remember is whenever you're done with a cut, to close the rotary blade. These are as sharp as a surgeon's scalpel, and you will not notice until the blood flows. Okay, so here we go again. Make another cut. Now let's make this a little trickier. I've been cutting along this edge, so I know it's straight. And now I can line up my line here. And we'll line it up with the edge of this, because that's where the farthest point is. And I'm also going to look at this, the green line I talked about before. Now I'm going to cut, this is a longer cut, so you can move your fingers up a little bit. This is also a good place to see how hard you have to press on the ruler. You shouldn't be white knuckling either one of these tools. I'm going to turn this around, and now I have this straight edge and this straight edge. So I can line those up. And I'm lining it up. Just happens to be on the 1/8 inch. I can move this over to make it easier for you. And then I'll move this down for, so it's a 1/4 inch as well. And now we'll cut off this edge. Close the blade. Turn this one around. Again, lining up my ruler lines on the edge. Open the blade, make my cut, close the blade. It's a good idea to practice on these long pieces to give you an idea of where to hold the ruler, how hard to push down, as well as how hard you would push down on the rotary cutter. Now when you're making long cuts, and I'm just pretending this one is longer, you can go part way and then spider your fingers up and finish the cut. And I think my blade is getting dull because it's leaving just one string on here. So if this was longer, I would go part way, move my fingers up, and then finish the cut. All right, hope that helps. Keep practicing. Bye now.